Hello, YouTube fam. Get ready for an amazing video experience. Welcome, everyone, to our latest video where we'll be exploring John Storey Martyr. John Storey, or Storey 1541 June 1571, was an English Roman Catholic martyr and Member of Parliament. Storey escaped to Flanders in 1563, but 7 years later he was lured aboard a boat in Antwerp and abducted to England, where he was imprisoned in the Tower of London, and subsequently executed at Tyburn on a charge of treason. Now, let's shift our attention to life. He was born in 1504, the son of Nicholas and Joan Storey of Salisbury. He became a Franciscan tertiary. Storey was educated at Hinckley Hall, University of Oxford, where he became lecturer on civil law in 1535, and 2 years later became principal of Brogatis Hall, afterwards Pembroke College. He received his DCL in 1538, and the following year resigned his position at Brogatis and was admitted as an advocate at Doctors' Commons. He married Joan Watts. He appears to have temporarily abjured his Roman Catholic beliefs and took the oath of supremacy. In 1544, in recognition of legal services performed in Bowlen for the Crown, King Henry VII confirmed Storey in the position of Regius Professor of Civil Law at Oxford. Having been chosen Member of Parliament for Salisbury in 1545 and Hindon in Wiltshire. Just after the accession of King Edward VI in 1547, Storey gained notoriety by his opposition to the Act of Uniformity in 1548. For crying out "Woe unto thee, O land, when thy king is a child," Storey was imprisoned by the House of Commons, but he was soon released and went into exile with his family to Louvain, where he became a member of the university. After the accession of Queen Mary, he returned to England in August 1553. His patent as Regius Professor was renewed, but he resigned his interest in his position at Oxford and was made Chancellor of the Diocese of London and of Oxford and Dean of Arches. Queen Mary being now on the throne, Storey was one of the officials in prosecuting heresy and one of her proctors at the trial of Thomas Cranmer at Oxford in 1555. Under Queen Elizabeth, he was again returned to Parliament as member for East Grinstead in 1553, Bramber in April 1554, Bath in November 1554, Ludgershall in 1555 and Downton in 1559. On 20 May 1560, he underwent a short imprisonment in the Fleet for having obstinately refused attendance on public worship, and everywhere declaiming and railing against that religion we now profess. In 1563, he was again arrested and committed to the Marshalsea, but managed to escape to Flanders, where he became a pensioner of King Philip II, and acted as the king's almoner for the Catholic exiles. Engaged by the Duke of Alva in Dutch, governor of the Spanish Netherlands, to prevent the export of heretical books from the Netherlands to England, he was lowered onto a trading boat at Antwerp in 1570 and conveyed to Yarmouth and thence to imprisonment in the Tower of London. According to Bede Cam, Storey represented the old order and was well known among the Catholic refugees. Brought home by fraud and violence and then executed, Cam sees this as meant to send a message to the exiles, demonstrating how strong Elizabeth was to punish and how powerless Spain to protect. In spite of his claim that he was a Spanish subject, he was tried for high treason for having supported the Northern Rebellion of 1569 and encouraging the Duke of Alba to invade, and was condemned to death on 2 May 1571. The spectacle of his trial moved Street Edmund Campion, who was present, to reconsider both his own position and his Catholic duty. He was executed at Tyburn by being hanged, drawn and quartered on 1 June 1571. With the rope around his neck he made a long speech and pleaded on behalf of his wife who hath 4 young children. With that being said, let's now move on to veneration. In 1886, John Storey was beatified by Pope Leo XIII inter papal decree originally approved by Pope Gregory XVI in 1859. Stay connected and join our community by subscribing and following me on other platforms.